The Bible said that we have this treasure in earthen vessels. We have this treasure in fragile clay jars. Fragile clay jars. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4 verse 7. Now we now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. The King James says, he says, we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. You know what he was talking about? What is fragile clay or earthen vessel? Earthen vessel is a breakable pot. You know, so fragile, a clay pot that can break easily, that is so weak and so limited, breakable. But he said that the excellency of God's power, there is the excellency of God's power at work in this fragile clay, in this mortal body, in this body full of weaknesses and limitations. Oh, I am speaking to somebody tonight, whatever time you are watching me. Hear me. Listen. God's strength to be made perfect in your weakness, in this fragile clay, in this weak body, in this body with limitations. An angel is not coming from anywhere to do the wonderful works of God. Listen, a perfect man is not coming from anywhere. You are that perfect man. You are that soul. You are that weaker vessel that the Lord wants to use. You are that vessel that has weaknesses that God wants to use. The earlier you come to the end of yourself and quit looking at your inadequacies, your handicaps, your limitations, and look at the strength of Christ, the better. Because Christ's strength to be made perfect in you. He said that when you are weak, then you are strong by his strength. His strength is made perfect in your weakness, not in your strength. What strength do you have? What power do you have? What greatness do you have? What do you think you have? No. We are not sufficient of ourselves. We have nothing to boast in ourselves. Our sufficiency is of Christ. It's of him. You know, people who worry themselves about so much about themselves and their morality and their perfection and all of that, and I mean, all trying to make all things, you know, fit into a perfect line. They never get any result from God, and God despises that pride. It's pride. You always focus on yourself, trying to appear before the Lord and now boast and say, yes, I've come. Saying, when I thought the Lord should take away my weaknesses, the Lord said, my strength is made perfect in your weakness. Never forget this. Never forget this. Whatever you think is a weakness, that actually rather takes you to your feet before the Lord. You can be persecuted by people, and then it takes you always to the presence of God to pray. The Lord, what these people are persecuting me, help me. That is actually a gift. Whatever that takes you to your knees is a gift from God. It's a gift because the Lord is helping you to walk out of pride, to be dependent on Christ. Now, when you stand before the presence of God, how do you pray and how do you see yourself?